Monza, the home of European motor racing, and after Indianapolis, the world's oldest existing circuit. It plays host to the third round of the 1995 Karcher Global Endurance GT in the warmth of the Italian spring. Monza is a spiritual home of sports car racing, featuring classic battles throughout the 50s, 60s and 70s, with Ferrari at home against Porsche, Ford, Matra and Gulf, before the 1980s saw the arrival of Jaguar, Mercedes, Lancia, Nissan, Toyota and Peugeot in Group C. The last international sports car race was here in 1992 when Toyota won, after Yannick Dalmas rolled his race-leading Peugeot with just a handful of laps remaining. Before that, Porsche, Jaguar and Mercedes all took wins. Derek Bell and Hans Stuck for Porsche in 1986. Jan Lammers and John Watson in 1987 for Jaguar. Martin Brundle and Eddie Cheever for Jaguar in 1988. Maribaldi and Jean-Louis Schlesser for Mercedes in 1990. And it was Brundle again with Derek Warwick for Jaguar in 1991. Now for Group C, read GT with McLaren added to Porsche, Ferrari and Jaguar in a world-class entry for the Monza 4 Hours. McLaren has brought back Gulf and has won the first two races from Porsche. Di Tommaso is here, the ADA Pantera for Andy Wallace and Torkild Turing. Jaguar 2, Richard Piper bringing back the XJ220 which raced in Italy last year. More Ferraris from the Aldix Pilot team for Michel Ferte and a second one for Paul Belmondo. And Martini is back with two Freisinger Porsches. More on that later. Corvette 2 coming from Brackley with two Augusta cars run under Keith Green. And Porsches galore, 911s and the new GT2s. West McLaren running in different colours this weekend under the Dave Price Racing team. And Stadler Motorsport GT2 winners at Daytona and Jerez for Enzo Calderari and Lilian Breiner. They're looking to take their third victory after being knocked out of the race at Paul Ricard. Paul Ricard winners, Paul Bedell and Soames Langton running their own Lanzanti Porsche this weekend. But there's a new kid in town in the shape of the factory-supported Ferrari Club Italia F40 GT Evoluzione of Anders Olafsson and Luciano Della Noce. We asked Olafsson, who won in the Strandell F40 at Suzuka and Vallelunga last year, to tell us about the Michelotto-built supercar.
During the winter, this car has been modified, especially because some of the regulations has been changed during the winter, so we had to do some differences, especially in the aerodynamics and also the suspension. When you develop a car, you need to make, first of all, the frame, the basic chassis, as strong as possible. And you see part of the chassis is down here. This is one piece and it goes through the whole car, and it has to be quite stiff, because when you then change the suspension, for instance, if the chassis is not stiff enough, you don't get the right response. This part is the suspension, and here we have the shock absorber and the spring. And this is basically the same as we used last year. For each race, we need to change the springs and the shock absorbers to find the best setting of the car. We have a 5-speed gearbox at the moment, but we wait for a 6-speed gearbox with a sequential gear shift inside. Unfortunately, we haven't got it ready yet, but we are working heavily on that. Inside, we have to have a structure and a safety bar, which is down here in the roof. The steering wheel have to be like quick relief, so you must be able to take it off if some accident happens. Here in the back we have a V8 engine with twin turbos. It's now at the moment I think it's 3.0 liter capacity. We might be able to try a bigger engine in the future. We are having heavily modified intercoolers because we found last year we received the incorrect temperatures. So now they made them a different size and different construction. What we can see here is a new type of underwing. This has been changed dramatically since last year. Last year we had a different angle and a different size of the underwing. So this is a new piece at the back as well compared to last year. It has a twin piece wing, and the upper part is adjustable. So if we want to improve and increase the rear pressure, we can adjust the rear. This position has been changed since last year as well, according to the regulations. So we've been able actually to move the wing a little bit rearwards. Other than that, it's not a big difference. There are some minor pieces brought onto the bodywork because it's, I think it's homologated on the American version, and that gives us the advantage to use the wing as far back as possible. So this was a trip around my Ferrari. I hope you've been enjoying to watch this, and I will try my best to be in good position for the future and to win some races with this car.
Jaguar is back for the first time since Le Mans 1993, Richard Piper's PC Automotive team debuting a single XJ220 at Monza prior to a full-scale Le Mans assault. The team had planned to run the same XJ220Cs which Tom Walkinshaw Racing used in the 24 hours, but BPR rules demand they can only use the road-based Jaguar. Our roving reporter, Jean-Pierre Jarrier, asked Richard Piper all about the big cat.
No, I have never driven the car before. The first time was at Snetterton. We did 15 laps before we came here, so we've had no testing at all.
You are happy with these big brakes? Is it okay without anti-blocking system?
The brakes we have had problems with today. We've had a little problem with discs, but maybe mainly because of the temperatures. We weren't getting the front discs up to temperature.
Okay. Will you be able to get more power from this engine to be competitive or to be as fast as the F40 or the McLarens?
I think the F40 and McLarens are a little further away from us than we would like. We can get more power from the engine, yes. We're a very conservative power band for the race, and we're not running anything in the way of qualifying boost or anything like that. We're just running it at a pace that we want to test the car at, really.
Do you have a 6-speed gearbox?
No, we only have 5-speed gearbox. We'd like to think that we will change to a 6-speed and maybe a different gearbox at some time.
And the car is a bit over the weight limit. Is it? It's very heavy, I think.
Yes, it's. We weigh in at 1188 kilos, which I think makes us the heaviest car here. We have lightened the car in lots of areas, but there is more room for us to be lighter.
Okay, so we have a lot of things to do on this car, and it's a good thing because you have the future for you. But tell me, when I look at the rear wing at the front of the car, I think you need some more downforce, isn't it?
Yes, we would like a little bit more downforce. We'd like a little bit more downforce at the front as well, because we don't have much air on the front of the car. So we're very early days. We'll get better.
Do you have enough sponsoring and time to go testing?
There is never such a thing as enough sponsoring. But we have enough to do some testing, yes, we do.
Another welcome returnee is Martini, missing from the motorsport scene since Lancia days. But it all started here in Italy in the 1970s. Well, to celebrate more than 20 years of Martini racing, which in those days included 2 Le Mans victories, days of 73, days of 76. Italian drivers Fulvio Bellabio has enticed Martini back with a 2-car Porsche 911 Turbo team joined by Henri Pescarolo, Bruno Giacomelli and Rupert Keegan, plus youngster Wolfgang Kaufmann, only just born in those days. Pescarolo, BPR winner at Monza last year, is the senior driver with a record 28 Le Mans 24 hours behind him.
Well,
20 years ago, I was involved in the great epoch of Porsche Martini and then Lancia Martini, he told us. For me, it's a return which gives me a lot of pleasure. The Italians and Martini are back.
Yes, for this race we are back into racing with these 2 cars, beautiful cars with Martini colors, and it's a very good opportunity for us, and we are very proud to wear Martini colors.
Bruno, you've raced with Martini before?
No, this is my first time, and for Fulvio too. It's the first time for us, and we're very proud of it.
Fulvio, you brought Martini into GT racing. Was it difficult?
Well, I think I have very friendly relation with Martini from many years in offshore, in the race when I stay in Porsche, Henri Pescarolo stay in Lancia Martini. I think Martini came back to race very strong last year, this year in the rally last year and this year with DTM. I think it's a very good opportunity for everybody race together in GT car, for Martini and for us.
Strong perhaps, but things don't always go quite as smoothly as planned. Freisinger Racing, who's running the 2 Martini Porsches, faces an overnight engine change. Well, of the others, Rocky Augusta's Callaway Corvette team is looking for pole position again in GT2, and he's brought along the family collection for luck, most of these ridden by Giacomo Agostini. The motorcycle and helicopter family member drives the number 4 car. These are replicas of the Callaway Corvette, run to such good effect in the BPR series last year by Reeves Callaway and driven by Boris Said. While another Italian who knows Monza well is local hero Almo Capelli. In the number 2 Corvette, the Milanese took us on his qualifying lap aboard his GT2 division Chevrolet. Welcome everybody, he said, on board my Callaway Corvette here at my home track, Monza, 5.8 kilometers in the Parco di Monza, the old gardens of the palace. Heading into the Rettifilio chicane, the Variantes, 4th gear, then heading for the Curva Grande, in 4th up into 5th. Almost immediately we're braking for the 2nd chicane, just before Lesmo.
Che precede la seconda variante prima di Lesmo, qui si scarica la 4ª, la 5ª, adesso siamo in 6ª.
5th gear, down to 4th, 3rd, 2nd.
Questa variante in 3ª marcia, prendendo il cordolo interno esterno.
Then heading into the first of the Lesmos, 4th gear again.
Andiamo verso la prima di Lesmo, si percorre in 4ª. Tra la prima e la seconda si sta all'esterno per affrontare
2nd Lesmo, much tighter now. After the modifications to the circuit following Imola last year.
Siamo ora in 3ª, 4ª, verso il curvone.
Down under the bridge over which the old banking goes.
Però non ci sono particolari problemi.
Braking hard for the Roggia chicane. Ascari, it's called, fourth gear. Dropping down again into third. Then accelerating hard, fourth into fifth, then onto the back straight. Heading for the parabolica.
Si mette quarta e a questo punto la quinta.
Fifth gear.
Abbiamo un cambio sequenziale a 6 marce. Qui siamo in sesta e ci avviciniamo alla parabolica.
Touch on the brakes for the parabolica.
La parabolica è una curva molto veloce, molto tecnica. Si
Very tight, very technical.
Questo è il punto esatto di corda, a 3/4
Accelerating hard again.
Si mette una quarta,
fourth gear,
una quinta,
past the pit entrance, fifth gear.
Filo, dove si raggiunge una velocità
then we start braking again for the rettifilio, reaching 300 kilometers.
Questo è stato un giro
Tomorrow,
con me, spero vi sia piaciuto.
I hope we can do just as well.
Fare del mio meglio e buon divertimento.
Well, Capelli takes GT2 pole on this lap, while the Italia Club Ferrari F40 takes the outright pole.
Hi, we are on pole here on Monza. See you after the break on the grid.
You rejoin me, Mark Cole, on the grid here at Monza for the third Karcher GT round, where the factory-backed Ferrari Club Italia car of Anders Olafsson's taken pole at the head of the 32-car field. Second fastest, not Gulf McLaren as expected, but the West competition F1 GTR of John Nielsen and Thomas Bischer. Second row, another Ferrari, the Aldix Pilot F40 of Michel Ferté, and then the first of the Gulf McLarens, that of Pierre-Henri Raffanel and Owen Lindsay-Jones, fourth fastest, despite losing a wheel in final qualifying. Jerez and Paul Ricard winners Bellem and Sala could not better fifth around the Autodromo, but still almost 1.7 seconds quicker than the BBA McLaren of Jean-Luc Maudy, Laribière, Pascal Fabre and Laurent Lecuyer. ADA's Ford NASCAR-powered Di Tommaso is here for Wallace and Turing. And then the first of the Porsches, that of Jarier, Wallach and Bouchou on row 4, while Capelli made the fifth row after taking the 450 GT2 car to pole for his class with the Eurosport camera on board. The pace lap, and Ferrari leads the field. Olafsson showing with Luciano Dellanocci. Their car a staggering 1.6 seconds quicker than the fastest McLaren, prompting McLaren designer Gordon Murray to remind us that this is Italy and that's a Ferrari. Camera car for the race will be Franz Conrad's Porsche 911 GT2, which the Austrian driver is sharing with Dutchman Bert Plug. They qualified fifth in the 450 horsepower category. Behind the front 5 rows, Corvette, Porsche, Ferrari and the debuting Jaguar. Richard Piper and Lindo Giacobelli qualifying 24th, but as we heard, with a lot of development work still to do on the XJ220, a car which raced here in last year's Italian GT Championship. Third start in the Karcher Global Endurance GT, just seconds away as the 32-car field rounds the final corner, the daunting Parabolica. And with FIA International Championship status now granted, this race is for points. The Gulf McLaren of Bellem and Sala starting at Monza as leaders of the series. Olafsson and Nielsen control remarkably orderly field. They take the green lights and the Ferrari gets its power down. But just look at Capelli's start from the fifth row, taking fifth place after 100 metres. On board with Conrad, fighting with Augusta's Corvette. Into the first chicane, Rettifilio. Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari, McLaren, McLaren. And then that Corvette, amazing. On board, fighting with Conrad behind one of the Ferrari F40s. With a fast Curva Grande. Then braking hard for the second chicane. Oh, and Nielsen really attacking there, and Ferté in third place. Oh, big sideways moment. The two Gulf McLarens, the Corvette, the ADA Di Tommaso, then the BBA McLaren back on board with Conrad fighting the GT2 car. Even has time to take his hands off the wheel to adjust his gloves. But look at this, Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari, McLaren, McLaren, and that Corvette still there leading the Fantera and the McLaren and the Labra Porsche. Capelli still up in 6th, Bob Wallach in 8th for Labra. Ferrari, McLaren, these two cars breaking away now, perhaps Olafsson and Nielsen, the two fastest drivers in the field apart from Boucher, who's not yet at the wheel. And Ferrari, McLaren, Di Tommaso into 6th, Capelli now falling back into the clutches of Bob Wallach and the Martini cars. That's the one of Rupert Keegan. into the parabolica. Look at that, diving out from behind. It's Pascal Fabre there, passing Andy Wallace's Di Tommaso. That Corvette's still well up there. Supernatural Corvette holding off the whole of the Porsche brigade. Down fast straight here. 195 miles an hour from the McLarens and the Ferrari. This Ferrari, although running in GT1 perhaps more than 650 horsepower, if you have increased weight you can have a little more power. Many believe it has 700 horsepower available. Still the Corvette doing a great job, and the Porsche's just unable to get by. Back in car with Conrad. Big battle here. The third place in GT2. Conrad, whose car won at Paul Ricard, driven by others. He's now taken the car over himself with Bert Plug. Car that did so well at Daytona, but this is the man who's really the star at home for Ferrari. Ferrari, McLaren, John Nielsen still pushing this Dave Price Racing McLaren, so far ahead of the Gulf cars. The Gulf car there of Raffanel coming up through Di Tommaso, and look at this. Bob Wallach makes a big move to get by the Corvette, but no, he cannot quite do it. Still very little more power than the Corvette, but wider wheels pushing that GT2 car up into the GT1 class for Labre competition. Still runner-up at the first two races of the year. This big battle, Capelli blocking those two Porsches behind him. There's nothing they can do, but yes. Does all he can to get through on the inside there. Angelastri and Von Gartzen in the Harold Grossrun Porsche 911 Turbo. Only just has the edge as they come out of the parabolica onto the start straight. But no problems at all for this man in the beautifully presented, factory-supported car. The car which Luca de Montezemolo ordered to take on McLaren and stop them winning sports car races. Raffanel there. And Pascal Fabre doing a great job this weekend. Only the second race for the BBA car, starting one race later than the Gulf and West cars. Rupert Keegan, former British Formula 3 champion, the man who hasn't raced for some 2 years. Now really back in the harness. Right up in the front run of the field, throwing that car over the curbs. The Corvette gradually falling back now. Maybe some problems, the team worried about the rear differentials. And there's smoke coming from that car indeed. Paul Bedell makes a move to go inside. Oh, and out of the race. Into the gravel, Philippe Albera. In his Porsche, you'll see once the smoke has cleared. The Jaguar is in trouble too. Richard Piper retiring also after 3 laps with gearbox problems. An inauspicious debut, but as we heard, a lot of work to do on the cars yet. Well, Capelli's GT2 leading charge does not last for long. Callaway Corvette smoking, team manager Keith Green looking for the car, and it's in for 2 stops and eventual retirement. Problems also for Paul Belmondo. Slowing out on the circuit, and here we bring the Aldix F40 in with gearbox problems. Problems with which it has been plagued all weekend.
We've had
the same problem all weekend, he said. Gear selection basically and gearbox problems. We haven't been able to cure it.
Je pense que c'est un problème de commande de boîte et pas de boîte de vitesse par elle-même.
So it's all down to the gearbox. We don't quite know what exactly. Well, after only 6 laps, leader Olafsson, second place. John Nielsen and already closing on back markers here in third place at the moment. Ray Bellum in the number 1 Gulf car, then Ferte in the 40 pilot car, and Raffanel right on his tail in the second of the Gulf McLarens. Gulf starting to come back into the ball game now. Lapping already. Through goes the Ferrari. And the McLaren right behind it. Conrad fighting for GT2 with Rocky Augusta. This now becoming the class battle, and through he goes, coming out of the parabolica, just getting the power down, looking over to his left, making sure he's given both those cars enough room. Oh, and problems for Ray Bellum. Look at that rear wheel. It is not turning. It's loose. The rear wheel come loose again on McLaren. Well, the team is waiting for him after radio message. He has got problems. Heading back, this is the second time this weekend. And the second time in 3 races that McLaren has had big, big wheel problems. In he comes, Michael Caine's team, jumping on the car. They know what's wrong, they're ready for it. And there's the evidence. The tyre almost cut through by the rear bodywork as the wheel was flapping around. Lucky to get back safely. Out he goes again. But sadly, the Gulf car will be out for good. A little later, out of fuel as the team tries to stretch a final lap before Bellum hands over to Sala. Well, after 2 hours of racing, here's the positions. Ferrari, McLaren, Porsche coming up. Bob Wallach and Christoph Buescher having done a great job to push that car up into third ahead of the BBA McLaren and the Conrad Porsche. Well, still the lead battle goes on. Different drivers, Luciano Delanocci and Thomas Bischer, the owner of this car, doing a wonderful job. John Nielsen back at the wheel now. This car on Goodyears as opposed to the other 3 McLarens, which are all on Michelin tyres, and giving Nielsen and Bischer the racer's edge this weekend. We just saw the 3rd place Porsche, which becomes 2nd as this routine pit stop by Delanocci handing over to Olafsson goes wrong. The brake pads, small brakes, as you heard Anders telling us earlier, fuse themselves to the discs. They won't come out of the calipers. It takes 5 minutes of work and they lose the lead and 2nd place, dropping down to 3rd in the order behind the West McLaren and the Labra Porsche. Not only that, out they go and they're back in a lap later with a puncher, dropping them even further down. So this man, John Nielsen, for West competition in the McLaren, heading for what looks like this car's first ever victory. Gulf has taken the honours at the first 2 races in 2nd place. Now at the wheel, Jarier, having done a good job with Buescher and with Wallach to give what looks like the 3rd consecutive runner-up position for that car. Here in 3rd place, Anders Olafsson now really getting the pedal to the metal in the Ferrari. No problems apart from that puncher and a slight brake trouble. Here's our race leader. Final laps unwinding for John Nielsen, heading for what will be his first major victory since the 1989 Le Mans 24 Hours. Final lap, checkered flag is ready, and it's a historic victory for John Nielsen and Thomas Bischer, the Dane and the Swiss. Leading home Jarier, 2nd for Porsche, and the Ferrari F40 just 1 lap down. After a thrilling Monza 4 hours with 3 manufacturers fighting out the honours. There's Jarier. This car still waiting for its GT1 650 engine. And there's the 3rd place man, almost unlapping himself on the final lap, but not quite. So great debut for Ferrari. What's going to happen at the next race at Jarama this coming weekend? Well, on the rostrum, Bischer and Nielsen showing the victor's spoils. All acknowledging it's been a classic race, as Monza always has produced here. So for Dave Price Racing, a well-earned victory. And don't forget Goodyear either, great work they've done on this car. Champagne flowing as ever, as we took the chance to talk to John Nielsen.
Grazie a tutti coloro che hanno partecipato, tecnici, meccanici, oltre che naturalmente piloti, a coloro che non sono stati fortunati, soprattutto a coloro che ci hanno fatto vivere momenti elettrizzanti in 4 ore. una gara partita alle ore 12:27 e conclusasi alle 16:20, liberata per lasciare spazio ai piloti del campionato italiano di Formula 3 che si preparano a scendere in pista. Italiano 1995, così come
John Nielsen, a great victory here at Monza for the team.
Oh yeah, I mean Monza is a nice place to come to, and to win the race here is just fantastic. The team did a great job, the tactics, the planning, all weekend it looked good, not on Friday, but we got it right.
It looked all weekend if Ferrari was going to win.
Yes, I would say so, you are right actually, but I had to use extra revs to keep him behind me when he's putting pressure on, and I was using a lot of fuel there, but I had to take the chance.
This wasn't an endurance race, was it?
Not at all. I mean, but that's why we're here. 4 hour races don't have to be endurance. We can sprint for 4 hours.
You've beaten the Gulf McLarens, you've beaten Ferrari, you've beaten Porsche. Can you do more this year?
Well, if we can beat them all every time, we're happy. I don't know. I mean, we've won the first one now. We're on the right route to learn about the car. Still a lot more to come, and I look forward to it.
Great.
Thanks.
Well, there's the race results. GT2 victory going to Conrad and Plug. This has been Mark Cole. This has been the Karcher Endurance GT from Monza. Labra drivers now leading the global Endurance GT. Join us for the next race.